Serious, what are some seemingly normal images with disturbing backstories? This father-daughter photo. The man in the photo, Franklin Delano Floyd, had married a woman and had custody over her children while she was in prison for 30 days. The girl in the photo is one of the children, whom Floyd decided to kidnap to start a new life with, leaving behind her siblings. 2 went to foster care, and 1, an infant, had never been found. The photo was taken shortly after moving, claiming her as his biological daughter, and changing their names. He later went on to marry her. It's a rabbit hole in itself, involving other abductions, murder, kidnappings, and so on. Floyd is a disturbing individual and the photo is so eerie with the story it has. Damn, I just read the Wikipedia article. Dude ended up murdering her in a hit and run in '89. Her infant son was given up by this lunatic to foster care, then it was found out when he tried to regain custody after 6 months he had no biological link to the kid. Batshit then walks into that kid's school with a gun, orders the principal at gunpoint to lead him to the kid's class, takes the kid and principal hostage, kicked the principal out of the truck, and was finally found and arrested 2 months later. The kid hasn't been seen since, but apparently in a 15 interview, he's still alive on death row. This crazy asshole admitted to shooting the kid the same day he kidnapped him. Holy shit! An old violin being sold at auction. At $1.5 million, it's one of the most valuable violins in the world. Not because of who made it but because of who played it. The initials WH stand for Wallace Hartley, the lead violinist on the Titanic. This is the instrument he played the night she sank, before Hartley himself died. This violin was found floating in the debris field. Kids playing on a street in Pripyat. The entire city will be forcibly evacuated due to the explosion at the nearby Chernobyl nuclear reactor. This old photo, taken in 1924 during one of the first British expeditions to Mount Everest. Shortly after this was taken, the 2 men in the picture, George Mallory and Sandy Irvine, would make an attempt for the summit. Mallory's body will be found in 1999. We still haven't found Irvine. Alan Ruby, freshman at the University of Oklahoma in 2014, murdered his entire family on a Friday. The next day, he drove down to Dallas for the OU-Texas football game, where he stayed in a hotel with his friends and posted this candid photo on Instagram, in what I assume would be an attempt to build an alibi. Didn't work, as he quickly confessed and received multiple life sentences. Still, I can't imagine what the people in this photo and others who were probably in that hotel room must have felt when they learned what had happened. I didn't know about this case and looked it up. What an absolute piece of shit. He said he murdered his parents and sister to collect his parents' estate because he owed a loan shark $3,000. It's such a small amount of money to commit such an atrocity for. I hate this guy so much now. I don't know about this case or anyone involved, but I ran into an old classmate from junior high when I was around 20 on a bus one day. We talked a while, seemed like he was doing really good. He was known for making pretty shitty decisions, including violent ones in the past. We caught up a while and he even walked me to my next bus stop and we said our goodbyes. 2 days later I grabbed the paper at work to read and it was front page news that he and 2 others were arrested in a murder. When we had caught up that day he had already killed someone. Sticks with me every day that he just seemed so normal, good even. You really never know about someone. I'm late, but this image is of a 23-year-old woman hitchhiking carrying her infant son while apartment hunting on Mother's Day, posted in a local newspaper. It's tragic because I believe it's possibly the last photo of her alive. Less than 4 months later she was killed by her husband during a fight. In between this photo and the murder, their son was taken away and put into foster care where he was later adopted by his foster parents. This, https://imgur.com/045od74, is the last image of a woman called Corey Van Vegel, who went missing on her descent of the Mardi Himal trek in Nepal in February 2018. I was lucky enough to meet her in a hot spring a couple days before. She'd come to Nepal on her own to do some trekking and a yoga retreat. She only had 4/5 days of trekking left, which included a hike up from the hot springs to Marty Himmel Base Camp and then back down to the city Pokhara. I only knew she'd gone missing because I saw her missing person, https://imgur.com/a/folix2c, poster in the mountain village I was staying in a few weeks later. She was a lovely person full of life and adventure, sociable and kind, and it's weird to think I was one of the last people she'd ever met. Rest in peace. This image, https://imgur.com/jacehuya, from the 1988 Gladbeck hostage crisis in Germany. The guy on the left is a robber, the girl on the right is a hostage who was killed while the police was taking action to stop the crisis. First day, 2 guys rob a bank and held some people as hostages. They first demanded a getaway car. They were given a white Audi and 300,000 German marks. They took 2 hostages with them in the car. Later one of the robbers' sister boarded the car with them. News reporters were following them with their cars. The next day, the robbers hijacked a bus with 32 passengers in them. A couple of times they allowed a news reporter to come in the bus and interview them. Later one of the robbers even came out of the bus to give an interview. It's in German, https://www.youtube.com/watch, v=ikais_pl1q, you can see the hostage bus in the back. He said that he doesn't care what will happen in the end because he will kill himself and that he doesn't give a shit about his life. Later they let some hostages out of the bus and drove the bus away. They stopped the bus at a gas station where the sister of the robber went to the toilet, where police arrested her. When the robber found out about it, he said that they have 5 minutes to free her or a hostage will be killed. She was let free, but while she was going to the bus an Italian teenager was killed by the robbers. The Italian teenager was protecting his little sister. He could have survived if there was an ambulance near the gas station. In the night, they drove the bus to the Netherlands, where the Dutch police demanded them to release the young hostages first, before accepting any offerings from the robbers. After they let some hostages away, the Dutch police gave the robbers a BMW car, with remote control. The robbers took 2 hostages with them and drove back to Germany. Later on they were surrounded by a lot of media reporters who took a lot of pictures of the scene, which can be found in Google. While they were driving on a highway, the German police finally took action and rammed the hostage car. The remote controller was forgotten somewhere, so it wasn't used. One of the hostages could flee off the highway, while the other hostage was shot and killed. The driver-robber later said in an interview that the bullets from the policeman killed the hostage. The German police denies that and said that the robber's bullet hit the hostage. Here is a link, https://n.wikipedia.org/wiki/Gladbeck_hostage_crisis to a Wikipedia page of it. The police and the media were heavily criticized because of the lack of taking action, police, and not letting any police near the crime scene, media. Edit, typos.